Okay, sweet. Well, welcome everybody to another Team Easy Sunday night training. It is March 3rd. I'm flying solo tonight because Eden is still recovering from our trip to Asia. And so I said, I'll take this one on. And it's always an honor to be able to be with you guys, whether you're watching this live or you're watching the recording. I'm going to train the exact same content tonight as I did for our European and UK team this afternoon. And the reason I'm going to train it tonight is because this is a network marketing principle. This is a sales principle that we've got to get better at. We've got to get better at it because if you can master this skill and you can really hone in on it, then your business will grow exponentially. And that skill is follow-up. Follow-up is a skill. Now, here's what's really amazing about follow-up. The average person requires anywhere from 5 to 17 exposures before getting started with Isagenix. Think about that for a second. The average person takes anywhere from 5 to 17 exposures. Now, an exposure can be an initial message on an initial post they saw on social media. It can be a text message that they received. It can be a video that they watched, an article that they read, a testimonial that they hear. These are all exposures. It could be an in-home event that they get to. It could be a bigger event that they get to. These are all exposures. 5 to 17 exposures is what is typically required for the average person to get started. Now, what we also know is that over 80% of sales, get this, 80% of sales are made after the 5th contact. After the 5th contact. However, the vast majority of associates or salespeople or whatever, sharers, whatever you want to call yourself, right, don't do more than 2 follow-ups. Now, how many of you, if we're being completely accountable, completely transparent, because I'm really big on raising our hands, because if we raise our hands and identify where we're a little bit lax, if you will, or where we have an area where we can improve, we can shine a light on it, and we can start to take forward steps. How many of you feel like or know you could probably get better at following up? And I'm going to pose 2 reasons why you probably don't follow up. But before I do that, how many of you probably recognize, just type in the chat box, how many of you recognize you could probably get better at following up, right? And maybe some of you really, you talk with somebody, you put them in your product group to kind of check things out, and then you just kind of sit around and maybe they get started, maybe they don't, maybe you wait for something for a reason to reach out. Okay, so 2 primary reasons that we don't follow up. And Brandy said something interesting right there. So 2 primary reasons that we don't follow up. Number 1, first reason, we're lazy. Plain and simple, we're just lazy. We just get lazy. We're lazy, right? We're just lazy. But the other reason, how many of you don't follow up? And in my experience, I've been doing this about 12, 13 years now. And remember, I started just like you. I've experienced so much of what you're experiencing in your build right now, I promise you. How many of you don't follow up as rigorously as you know you could because you don't want to, quote unquote, bother people? You don't want people to feel like you're pressuring them. You don't want to be annoying. You don't want to be perceived as annoying, right? How many of you don't follow up as much as you could because you just don't want to be perceived as being annoying or something along those lines, right? Okay, right, so many people. How do I know that? I used to do it, or I used to not do it for that matter, right? Okay, so, or like Sami and Mandy said, or they'll see a message from you and they'll ignore it, and then you're like, okay, they're definitely not interested, so I'm never gonna follow up again, right? That's a cold no if they say, you know, and I don't wanna be salesy, says Carrie. Perfect, okay, great, so thank you for saying that. All right, now, I wanna ask you guys a question, and ladies, because there's a majority of you on the call, I want you guys to play along here. Earlier, I used a car buying reference. Today, I'm gonna do something a little different. All right, ladies, I just want you to imagine that winter season is coming along or fall season's coming along, and you go to your favorite department store and the sales guy walks up to you and you say, hey, I'm really excited. I'm looking for a pair of boots. I'm looking for a pair of boots. And the sales guy says, oh my God, come take a look at these wedges that we just got. How are you gonna feel? You walk into the store, I'm really excited to get some boots for the fall. It's fall season, I can't wait to get some boots. And the guy says, let me show you these wedges that we just got. You're gonna feel annoyed, confused. He wasn't listening. You're gonna be confused, right? Like, what are you, what? That's not what I'm looking for, right? Like he didn't care enough to listen. You're gonna probably walk away, says Megan. And then you reiterate it and you say, oh, wait, no. Hey, I'm really just interested in some boots. And he goes, oh, okay, let me show you some of our boots. And you see a pair that you like, but they don't have them in your size. They don't have them in your size. And so you say, you know what? He says, we can order them from another store. And you say, okay, no worries. I'm going to go home and think about it anyways. Let me go talk to my husband, or let me go talk to my partner, or whatever it is. I'm going to think about it. And he goes, no worries. He goes, would it be okay if I email you in case there's any updates or anything like that? Yeah, no worries. Great. And the very next day you get an email and he says, hey, you got to see these platform heels that we just got in. You got to see these platform heels that we just got in. Ladies, how are you going to feel? You said you wanted to go home and think about it. And now he's saying, you got to see these platform heels we just got in. How are you going to feel? Annoyed, right? Jesse wants to see them, of course, right? Wait. Dana might be curious, okay? But remember, you're intentional. You really just wanted boots, right? You really just wanted boots. The next day, he's not messaging you about your boots. He's messaging you about platform heels, okay? No thanks. Now, what if he says to you, well, but we have a great, what if he says we have a sale on them? No, I just wanted boots. Okay, goodbye. Goodbye. He's clueless. He's not listening. Okay. So how then do we go from being salespeople to being in the service industry? Now, there's nothing wrong with sales. Sales, when done right, is the most elegant thing in the world. It's an elegant conversation. And learning sales skills, something I'm proud to teach, is something that's going to help you guys grow tremendously. The big question is, how do you position yourself to really be an educator, to really be someone who provides value in people's lives, and to really be of service as opposed to just be selling? Because most of us wait for something to come along before we follow up. And that is what takes away from your credibility, and that is what makes you look like salespeople. What am I talking about? Well, tonight, coming out tomorrow, maybe some of you have heard this, free membership and 10% off of certain packs over 150 BV. Now, a lot of you are going to go and follow up with people that you haven't spoken to for a while and say, hey, there's 10% off, free membership, blah, 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 blah. Nothing wrong with that, although based on the content of tonight's call, I just want you to play with how you do it. But I just want you to think for a second, how would you feel if you tell somebody you want to think about something, you don't hear from them for a month or two, and then the very next message you get is, hey, we're having a sale? How would you feel? Just think about this for a second. How would you feel if you don't hear anything from them, and then all of a sudden, hey, we're having this 10% sale? That's right, Carrie, like it's a customer, not a connection. Like it's a customer, not a connection. And so automatically, most people are going to shut you off. From a consumer perspective, most people are going to shut you off. That's when you get ghosted. That's when people stop paying attention to you. Okay, so tonight what I'm going to teach you in the next 15 minutes, if you think this would be valuable, let me know, just type in the chat box, is how to follow up like a pro. How to follow up like a pro so that you can convert more people and come from a place of greater service as opposed to just waiting around for free membership or discounts on systems, which is a whole other conversation that I don't want to get on tonight, but I have a whole philosophy on it. We're not going to talk about that. Maybe I just talked about it without talking about it, okay? But anyway, how to follow up like a pro. And the way to follow up like a pro is to always follow up with relevant value. Always follow up in a way that suggests you were really paying attention and listening. Now, some of the people on this call utilize a group called EYB, Experience Your Breakthrough. Others of you on this group use other product pages that are very similar in nature. But the one thing I see happening, or the two things that I see happening that aren't as effective as they could be, is we're not following up with specific value. Right? So we might tag someone in a transformation, we might have them watch a video, we might post an article, we might ask someone to share their story. But are we really taking the time to say, you know what? Shannon's biggest concern was whether or not she'd be getting enough calories in her body based on how much she trains every day. Shannon's biggest concern was that. Shannon also wanted to add some lean muscle. Those were Shannon's objectives when I talked to her. But if I add Shannon to a group and I say, hey, Shannon, here's a great article on why our greens are amazing. Oh, and also, hey, so-and-so, can you share with Shannon how you lost 100 pounds? How is Shannon going to feel? How is Shannon going to feel? Similarly, I'm Jake. Welcome to the call, man. Good to see your face for the first time on here. Let's say, so Jake's obviously a dude. I'm talking to Jake. We're in conversation. I'm like, Jake, what do you want to do, bro? Like, what do you want to have happen here? Hey, I'd love to lose 10 pounds, burn some body fat, blah, blah, blah. Cool, man. Do you feel like you're ready to get started? No, I'd like to think about it. No worries. I'm going to add you to a group. I'm going to follow up with you in a couple of days. Great. Hey, Jake. Hey, Mandy. As a female, can you please share your experience with Jake, what it's been like for you on the system? Hey, Karen, can you just please share with Jake how this helped you? Jake is automatically going to tune out. So one of the big mistakes that I see us make when we follow up, and quite frankly, how we build businesses in general, is we're overly focused on what we think people need, and we're not focused enough on what people want. So stop giving people what you think they need when you follow up. Stop giving people what you think they need when you add them to the groups and things like that, and start doing it based on what they want. What are their goals? What are their objections? What are their frustrations? Why are they hesitating? How can you link them up with information specific to their ideals, their goals, and why they came to you in the first place? So that's part one. Now, typically speaking, after I've added someone to EYB or one of your product pages, whatever it is, I'm going to follow up in 2 days. Now, how am I going to follow up like a pro? I'm going to follow up like I was paying attention. And I'm going to follow up with something that's so specific to them that it's undeniable. So what I'm going to do, and again, I see Eric on the screen. I'm just going to use Eric, and I'm just going to make this up. I'm going to say Eric came to me. He's a former athlete. He got out of shape a little bit, right? And he just wants to get back in shape. So what am I going to do? When I follow up with him in 2 days, I'm going to send Eric a before and after of somebody whose transformation is just like Eric's, a different one, a new one. Someone that represents who Eric can see himself as. And I'm gonna say, hey bro, I know you're still thinking about it and talking things over with your wife. No rush on my end whatsoever. Saw this transformation and couldn't help but think about you. Anyway, catch up soon. That's it. I'm gonna leave it. Now I'm gonna teach you guys some high-level gangster type-ish that I've never taught on a call before, okay? This is high-level pro stuff. High-level pro stuff. Now, normally speaking, we don't teach this kind of stuff on the big open team calls because so many of you are new and beginning in your journey. However, I thought to myself, why wouldn't I teach you the gangster stuff at the beginning so you can just become full-blown gangsters from day one? Because remember, our vision is to have the best training team in all of network marketing. So 2 days in, I'm going to follow up like I did that way with Eric. And a couple days later, I'm going to follow up with Eric. And this is the ninja stuff. And I'm going to follow up with Eric having absolutely nothing to do with Isagenix. Pay attention to what I just said. I'm going to follow up with Eric having absolutely nothing to do with Isagenix. What I'm going to do is I'm going to follow up having nothing to do with Isagenix and everything having to do with Eric's life and whatever he has going on. So an example of that might be, yo, dude, I saw that you're looking for a new car. My brother's in the car business. Would you like me to make an introduction to him? Notice what I did. Nothing about Isagenix, all about value. Hey, dude, I know you're looking to get back in the gym. I heard there's a great spot right down the street from your house. I don't know if you've heard of it or not. Do you want to go get in a workout sometime? Or if I don't live in his neighborhood, hey, a friend of mine owns an incredible yoga studio in Summerlin. You got to go check it out. If you ever go, let me know and I'll let them know you're coming. That way, the next time I follow up, there's some in between. There's some conversation that's happened. There's something that demonstrates, hey, I care more about you than I do about making a sale. because people buy from people that they know, like, and trust, and you are far more likely to like me and want to get to know me if I demonstrate an authentic desire to like you and want to get to know you, and therefore you're going to trust me. But if all I'm hitting you up with is 10% off and, excuse me, man, I've done this call twice today. If all I'm hitting you up with is 10% off and free enrollment, bro, like whatever, I can go buy supplements somewhere else. I don't need it. I can go online. I can buy from Amazon. But people will never choose to buy outside of a relationship where they feel like the relationship cares about them. Just type in the chat box if this is landing for you guys, if you guys are already noticing how you can do follow-up a little bit differently. And just think about how you can ping pong, right? So one follow-up, yes, about Isagenix. Relevant story, oh my God, I heard this podcast. Hey, you might listen to it, you might not, no worries whatsoever. I just couldn't help but think to send it your way. Great, here it is, no attachment whatsoever. The next one, follow up, look on their timeline, look on their Instagram, pay attention to their stories. What are they talking about? What are they talking about in their lives? Maybe start a conversation with them, and maybe follow up with them about having nothing to do with follow-up, nothing about providing value, but just continuing the connection. For example, and I'm gonna use Eric because I can see him. For example, Eric posts on Facebook, thinking about getting my motorcycle license. I've always thought about getting a Harley. Dude, my dad, I gotta send a message. Bro, my dad rode Harleys for years. Why do you want to get into riding? We're just building the relationship. We're just building the relationship so that when I do come back over the top with something regarding Isagenix, he is 100 times more likely to be ready and to say yes, because he's continuing to see that I'm continually creating the relationship. You guys feeling it? All right, just go like this. Just go like this if this is helpful. All right, sweet. Now, that's how you follow with value. Okay. Now, I'm going to teach you how to follow up and close potential quote unquote customers or product users, however you want to define them. I don't like defining them that way. However, I'm going to show you how to create urgency with customers and product users, potential product users. I'm going to show you how to create urgency. It's easy to create urgency when it comes to the opportunity. Very easy. But right now, I'm going to show you how to create some urgency with getting people off the fence and getting them started. Now, the only way this works is if you're in massive action. And the reason you have to be in massive action is because it has to be authentic. And the only way it can be authentic is by you having a serious pipeline of people. That means you are really moving, you're really building, you're really speaking with a lot of people. You've been diligent in your follow-up, okay? You've been consistent. You've been providing value for people on a one-on-one basis. You have the pipeline to support it. Now pay very close attention, because if you do this with posture, and you can do this authentically, watch how many more people you get started in your business this week, especially because of the offer that Isagenix is putting up. Check it out. Hey, Jake, I've made a decision. I'm going to do this through a voice note or on a quick phone call, but I'm not going to type it out. It's got to be a voice note or it's got to be a phone call. Hey, Jake, brother, I've made a decision and I've decided that I'm only going to work with 5 customers this month. I'm only going to work with 5 customers this month. Now, 3 of the spots are already filled. And once all 5 are filled, I'm not going to take on anybody else, because I really want to be able to customize and work closely with the people that I'm working with for the next 30 days so I can help them achieve their goals. So, bro, I wanted to give you right of first refusal before I fill up these last 2 spots. Did you want, listen to my language. Did you want to delay everything that you shared with me by another month? Or do you feel like you're ready to finally get started? Now here's where I hit him. And if you want to delay by another month, no worries, bro, whatsoever. I'll follow up with you then. How does that sound? So, how many of you, tell me what I just did. Tell me what just happened. Now, it's got to be authentic. It's got to be real. And some of you are big enrollers, so you can authentically say, hey, look, I'm only going to take on 10 people this month. Like, I'm only working with 10. 6 of those spots are already filled up. Now, some of you are going to want to put this on Instagram stories and blah, blah. No, it's not effective that way. Remember, we're following up with authentic, legitimate value. These have to be voice notes. These have to be phone calls, right? Feels like the window's closing. We're creating FOMO. I provide a ton of value and then I take it away. Guys, these are sales skills. These are sales skills. Yes, we share something that we love. I get it. But type in the chat box, how many of you want to create financial freedom in your life? How many of you want to create, how many of you are here because you really want to create freedom? Or freedom might look like an extra $2,000 a month. Freedom might look like an extra $500 a month. Whatever that is to you, you've got to embrace the reality that the way money flows in this world is because people like me, people like Eden, people like Jim and Kathy Coover, quite frankly, are so passionate about what we do that we believe that our ability to sell something is a necessity to influence somebody and move forward in their lives. Think about what I just said. I have to be good at sales. Why? Because I believe in transformation. And the only thing that's going to create transformation in someone's life is them getting beyond some of their limiting beliefs. And the only thing that helps to get people beyond their limiting beliefs is the ability to ask people new questions to get them thinking in a new way. And guess what? The only people that I know of that know how to ask those questions are the greatest salespeople in the world. So you got to be willing to sell your ass off for the benefit of other people. Now, there's a difference between being salesy and being great at sales. There's a difference between being a shark and being a servant. But if you want to make an impact and you want to make an income, because that's quite frankly what this is all about, then get comfortable asking tough questions and creating scenarios in which you can create urgency, provide value, and then take it away. There's nothing wrong with that. Because here's what I promise you. Here's what I promise you. If I did that with Jake within a week, Jake's going to hit me up and be like, bro, thank you so much for helping me get started this week. I feel amazing. Eric and Shannon are going to call me within a month and say, dude, this is really happening. Like, we're really making money. Like, this is what? Mandy and Sami are going to call Eric and Shannon within a month and say, he's making enough money. What? Sami can leave his job. He doesn't have to do this anymore. Sales. Not sharing, not I love you, not kumbaya. Sales. And it's okay. And I want us as an organization to embrace that because it's powerful and it's enrollment. And you can call the terms whatever you want to call it. But this team gets to be the best trained team in all of network marketing. You guys get to have more 6- and 7-figure income earners in this organization than any other team in Isagenix. Now, we got some work to do that, but in order to do that, you've got to be willing to embrace some of these little details. Some of these things that you might say aren't comfortable to you. But I think you all know how I feel about comfort zones. I like them. I'm all about them. First class, comfortable. First class, comfortable. Not worrying about what's on the right side of the menu because that's where the prices are, comfortable. Driving a nice car, comfortable. Not comfortable? Not being able to pay my bills, going to a job that I hate, telling the people that I love no, scraping for change, being dead broke. Not comfortable. Not comfortable. And now the question is, how quickly do you want to learn? How quickly do you want to grow? How quickly do you want to compress the system? Because all I'm talking about is a system of language, a system of conversation, a system of duplication, a system of discipline. That's all I'm talking about. How quickly do you want to compress that is up to you. You could do it in a month. You could do it in a year. You could do it in 5 years. I don't care how fast or slow you go. I just care that you go. But faster is more fun. Faster is easier. It is. Faster is easier. Now, the reason faster might feel like it's not as easy is because it's like stepping into a ring with a pro boxer. You literally take 100 jabs within the first 30 seconds, just like, push, 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 push. But because you're committed, you're still standing. And you learn. And the next round, you take a few less punches. And the next round, you take a few less punches. And the next round, you take a few less punches. And the next round, you take a few less punches. And then all of a sudden, somehow, some way, boom, the other dude's laying on the canvas of the floor because you just knocked them out. Why? Because you were deliberate, you were intentional, and you were willing to practice. You were deliberate, you were intentional, you were willing to practice. Somehow we got on this conversation. It was supposed to be about follow-up. I hope I covered the follow-up stuff, all right? You guys know how I am. I just kind of start. Why am I so passionate? Why am I so passionate? Can anyone tell me why I'm so passionate about this? Anybody? I'm 6 years in. I don't need the money. Anybody? Anybody tell me? Anybody know? Anyone that knows me? Why? Why do I do this? Because the people. Because I had people like me that were willing to be bold enough to look me in my eyes like I look you in your eyes and say, you're not playing as big as you can be playing. You're not acting as much as you can be acting. You're not compressing the system as quickly as you can be compressing the system. And no, Glenn, yeah, Glenn, I believe in the products. I do. I believe in the products. The products are amazing. I use it every day. But more than believing in the products, I believe in you. I'm not some sort of mythical creature. Eden isn't some sort of unicorn. We followed simple steps. And my overnight success has taken me 13 plus years. 13 years of work. So do the work. Be deliberate with your practice. Compress the system. It's a lot more fun. And success loves speed, which many of you have heard me say before. Success loves speed. And I'll give you a shining example of how quickly you can turn the switch. And I know I can share this publicly because I know how they are as people because they're open. Mandy and Sami are a perfect example. 2 months ago, these two down on the canvas, 8 count, referee counting them down, done. 2 months ago. And within 2 months, they've changed their energy. And how many people have you guys enrolled in just the last 4 weeks? How many people just in the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks? 15 people. 15 people. Have the products changed? No. Has the comp plan changed? No. Have our templates changed? No. Has the system changed? No. None of it's changed. What changed for Mandy and Sami? They made a decision and their mindset. And they aligned what they said with, they aligned what they were thinking with what they wanted to do, day after day, day in and day out. And now they're pushing up against 2-star. Okay? It's a decision. And then it's taking actions that are in alignment with that decision. So you got to ask yourself the question, is me not following up with value in alignment with the things that I say I want? Zach asked me the other night on the team call, do I want financial freedom? And I was like, F yeah, I'm all in, blah, 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 blah. Show me. Show me. Show me. Show me for you. Show me. This is worth it. It's 6:03. I've already kept you guys a few minutes late. Thank you for spending your evening with me. Have a phenomenal, phenomenal night. Go be disciplined. Compress the system. Success loves speed. Eden and I love you guys all. Hope to see you guys very, very soon. Have a phenomenal night. We're out.